Good afternoon, everybody. Want to offer my 2 cents on some stuff that's going on in our country right now. That country being America, although it's germane, I think, for the entire world. I'm trying to keep this brief, but the title of the video, I think, is going to be "Make Racism Illegal," and it's fairly obviously clickbait, but very few people are going to watch my videos anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if I can reach even 1 or 2 people, I think it's a good thing. Here's the problem. Okay, I think fundamentally, human beings are not friendly. You know, we're not necessarily good, nor will we ever be. I mean, I wish we could be. There are a lot of good ones out there, and a lot of, sparkling examples of human beings and human kindness, but if history has shown us one thing, it's that for every example of human kindness, there's one of human weakness or malevolence or violence. In order to change that, we would need to change the very nature of humankind, and we don't currently have that technology. Education is great, information is great, to a degree legislation is great as well. However, and here's the thing, no matter what we do in a free society, there are going to be some crazy bastards who do crazy things. Whether they do it in the name of racism or sexism or homophobia, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but if you take the racist out of a crazy person with pathological instincts, who, that person is going to do crazy things anyway. He's just going to find a reason to behave violently. Does that mean I condone racism? If you think so, then you know what to do. But the fact of the matter is that human beings are necessarily violent. We're omnivorous, but carnivorous in the very fiber of our being. That's why we have incisors. Incisors exist to rip flesh and eat meat. So in order to do that, and that's why we have eyes in the front of our head, it's to observe prey. And biologically speaking, you can look it up, you can talk to anybody who knows anything about it, and they'll tell you the same thing. It's that predatory species have teeth which are designed to rip flesh, and they have eyes in the front of their head. Now, we're omnivorous, obviously, but in order to be a predatory species, you have to have violent inclinations, because you have to have the innate desire to go out and kill something and eat it in order to continue to live. When we gather in large numbers as humans, as we've done, this causes problems, because sometimes we hurt ourselves rather than just the species which we're attempting to use as our food. Is that a bad thing? Yeah, I mean it is, but we're never, ever going to be able to check that reality. So this brings me into the subject of the video, which is making racism illegal. Do I wish that we could banish racism and get rid of it altogether? Sure, absolutely I do. And all the other isms, classicism, sexism, homophobism, it's not really a word, but goes with the isms. Anyway, absolutely, I wish we could get rid of every bit of negativity that has ever existed. The problem is, what I mentioned before, there are 7 billion people in the world, and not all of them think the same way. There's a reason that bigotry exists, and a lot of you aren't going to like this, but the reason that bigotry exists is because human beings are fearful creatures, and we're concerned with the security and comfort of ourselves and those near and dear to us. So what that means is usually things that are different scare us, and that sometimes we lash out against them in order to gain more security and comfort for ourselves. It's a very simplistic way of putting it, maybe overly simplistic, but at our base we are animals, and that's how we behave. So, totally eradicating these sort of feelings is, I don't want to say a fool's errand, because we should do as much as we can, but we have to understand as a society, as a world, that we're never going to completely get rid of nasty individuals who do nasty things, because we are nasty creatures, and that's a fact. So vis-a-vis the subject at hand, how do we get rid of these things, or how do we mitigate them? And I've heard a lot of talk recently, or read a lot of things on the old interwebs, with people in America specifically saying that we should ban racism, make it illegal. And here's my problem with that. First of all, America is a pretty good place to live. You know, it's not a horrible place to live, and we've made great strides in the past 40, 50 years towards, you know, I don't want to say stamping out racism, but at least decreasing it. For me, the talk of systemic racism is complete nonsense. It's easy for me to say as a cis hetero white male. So that's not a point I really want to argue. Getting off track there. Anyway, the point is this: if you make racism illegal, you are prohibiting a thought. You're prohibiting the existence of a theory. Okay. Some of you may say, well, good, because it's a terrible theory. I agree, it's a terrible theory. If you make it illegal, you do something that's very important that we need to look at as a free society, okay? And that's that you make it punishable by law to have a specific belief. Okay? This is the precedent. When you do that, it means you can either be fined or imprisoned for believing and expressing your belief on a specific subject, right? America was predicated on the exact antithesis of that notion. And you can look it up. It's in that thing called the Constitution. Yes, that's it. So what happens is, if we take a thought and make it illegal, that sets a precedent for taking thoughts and making them illegal. That means that if you go to jail for being a racist, or are fined for being a racist, that's just the start, okay? And the warning I want to send out here, and please heed this if you watch this video, you know, probably only 50 of you will watch it at the most, but in the foreseeable future, this country is going to continue to be run by wealthy, white, male individuals, okay? That's not going to change anytime soon. Some of them might be Democrats, some of them might be Republicans. That's fine. But the fact is, the overwhelming majority of people in this country are white and moderate, okay? And the people who rule this country are white and somewhat conservative. They can call themselves Democrats, but if you look at it, they want to pad their pocketbooks, right? Human beings are selfish creatures, and we often want to take the easiest road to personal success. And if we put in the hands of the ruling class of rich white males the ability to detain, fine, and imprison people for their thoughts, what do you think is going to happen? The first thing is going to be the anti-racism law. Everyone's going to cheer, say, oh, I'll throw the racists in jail. What's the next thing that's going to happen? They're going to say, oh, we lawmakers see that there's a very shaky precedent going on here, because it's tough to define racism, right? You could just, racism, they'll have it on the law books, and what do you think they're going to do, the white people that are in power? They're going to make it very nebulous and easy for them to just go up to anyone. Black Lives Matter? You're out of here. Why? Because you're a racist organization. Next thing you know, all your leaders are thrown in jail and imprisoned. And all the liberal media sites, gone. Same reason. Everybody who denigrates anyone for being anything can be thrown in jail, but I guarantee you the powers that be will use it to their advantage. And if the powers that be are majority white, which is what you folks out there, we, whatever, are all struggling against, is the domination of white male Christian society. Next thing you know, any illegal alien who says anything about Trump or whoever's in power, because it probably wouldn't happen during this regime, by the definition of the new law that would be in place, they're going to use it against you. And then they're going to institute new laws which are similar. Can't say this, we'll throw you in jail. Can't say that, we'll throw you in jail. What's that sound like to you guys out there? If you're saying that, Trump is a Nazi, you guys are in for a real awakening. Because if communism has shown us one thing, if any sort of government has shown us one thing, it's that when you limit people's free speech, when you limit the right to think independently, and you have to, to do so, you have to institute fear, and you have to be very autocratic. You automatically limit freedom. And if you think we're not a free country right now, and if you think you're being targeted now or marginalized now, wait till the rich white people in power have the right and the privilege under law to throw you in jail for what you think. I guarantee, all you folks who think that you're not racist, doesn't matter. We've all been called racist. I've been called racist because of the color of my skin. Anything I say is racist if I disagree with the current narrative. So the people that are going to be in control of this anti-racist law are going to be the people who, guess what? You wanted to limit their power in the first place, and they will not use it for you. Trust me when I say that. So anyway, I'll stop there. It's just a little bit of a warning, and please use your heads, guys. I know times are kind of turbulent right now, but being overly reactionary and emotive in your reasoning is exactly the opposite of what we need to be doing. We need to think about our future and how we're going to accomplish it and make it good for everybody. And there's only one way to do that, and that's to love each other and to, provide education and real, actual discussion, real, actual reasoning. And we're not doing that now. Easy to condemn Nazis. I condemn Nazis. Everybody does. But think about the future of the country and what you want it to be. And if you want the government replaced, what do you want it replaced with? And how do you want it replaced? Anyway, I have a tendency to ramble. I'll stop there. And to the 4 people that watch this video, I hope you got something out of it.